Hello and welcome to the Music Tech Guru tutorial video for sequencing and arrangement basics. In this video, we're going to look through the essential requirements that you need to successfully use Logic as a composition and arrangement tool. So we're going to start by opening up Logic and creating a new arrangement. So if we go to Logic here and File, New, we come up with, it will open up a new box and we can choose from different types of track that we want to use. At the moment we're going to just deal with MIDI, so we're going to use a software instrument. So this creates sounds from the actual computer, not from an external source such as a keyboard, a synthesizer, or a guitar or a bass or something like that. So we're going to use sounds from the computer. So we create the software instrument. And this creates a track. Now this is one of our tracks where we can create MIDI information. We can play MIDI information here. So let's do that. We're going to import some MIDI information. So I've got some MIDI files that we can import in, which will create the notes that we need. And we're going to start with the main organ part. I'm just going to drag that into Logic like that. And you'll see that it's got tempo information in it. That's how fast the track is. And we want to import that. So we'll import that. And that means that the tempo is now 100 BPM. So BPM stands for beats per minute. Obviously, the more beats per minute, the faster the piece of music. The less beats per minute, the slower the piece of music. 100 BPM is a kind of mid-tempo, getting a bit slower. It's kind of maybe a bit urban, maybe reggae kind of speed. And so that's the sort of thing that we're looking at for this track. Okay, so up here we see this grayed out thing. Now this is the cycle range, or the locators. If I click in the middle of it, you can see it turns orange or yellow. And I can change the length of it to whatever length I want. And this is like a cycle, if you like. So if I just do it 1 bar cycle and then press play on the transport bar, it will start playing. But you'll notice that there is no sound playing at the moment. That's because we haven't chosen a sound. Okay, so let's choose a sound. Now if we go down here to the bottom left, we have what's known as the channel strip. This is where we get our sounds. This is where we process our sounds. And if we keep looking here, we've got one here that says instrument. So we can choose a sort of instrument. There's a clue to the type of instrument, classic rock organ. So if we click on instrument, we'll go down to the vintage B3 organ. And just use a stereo. Which means it uses both left and right. And here we have the B3 organ. Now, if I press play now, or spacebar on the keyboard, we'll start hearing what's going on. Let's change the loop. Okay, so there's our basic chords. And when I double click on this green region, you can see that it opens up what's known as the piano roll editor or matrix editor. And we have the piano up here showing all the notes that can be played. And then we have the time along the top saying when the notes are played. The color of the notes represents the velocity in which the notes were hit, i.e. how hard they were hit. So you can see they're all the same, and that's because an organ isn't actually velocity sensitive. It will always play at the same volume regardless of how hard you hit the keys. So in this case, velocity doesn't actually matter, but we can look more closely at velocity later. So if we press play, you can see the playhead moving along, telling us when the notes are happening. Now we can change the different types of sound if we like. We can look through some of the presets, or we can play around, we can adjust parameters of the sound. So let's just first off look at the kind of presets that we've got. So if we go up to factory default here in the plugin window and we click, we can see we have a whole list of different types of organ. Now I'm going to have a look at the slight clue which says classic rock organ on the region. I think I might try that one. Let's try that one. There we go. Let's press play. Nice. So there we have the organ part. Now the next bit I'm going to import one of the audios. I'm going to import Jam Hot Rap. So again, just drag it into a new track. It automatically creates the right type of track, and it should work.
Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is jam hot. This is jam hot. Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the...
Right, we can see it's not quite in the right place, so we're going to have to change something. I think what we need to do is we need to move this to start at number 2, and then we just play it from there like that and move the audio so it starts slightly. You can see it starts, the audio starts slightly before the bar. So if I play this from the beginning, have a bit of silence, and it'll be like
Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is jam hot. This is jam hot.
Okay, so there we've got our basic intro, if you like. It could be a bit different. We'll try out a few different things. So you can see there are quite a few different types of MIDI files you can use. I'm going to use a distorted guitar mid as well. I'm going to put that in. So that should be there. Again, import the tempo, that's fine. And for some reason it's put it on a piano. I don't know why it's done that. So we're going to have to clear that. If we just go click at the top here, we can reset the channel strip. And again, we can let's look at a different way of browsing for sounds. We can click on the browse button on the top left and start looking for sounds here. So we're looking for a guitar, electric guitar, let's say a classic rock guitar, combo lead. Let's see what that sounds like. You can see that it's filled in a few more things in this channel strip. And I've added some effects which will change the sound and the way it sounds. And I'm just going to loop this region so it plays for 4 bars.
Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is jam hot. This is jam hot. Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty.
Okay, there you go. That's enough to be getting on with. So now what you're going to do is you're going to put in your own MIDI now. We're going to look at building a drum beat. Okay, so if you press the plus, we go to software instruments. That's what we want. We create. And now we've got an empty channel strip, which again, we can either go to the browser to look for some drum beats, some drum kits, or we can look in other places in the drop-down instrument menu. So let's just go for the Ultra Beats stereo. Now this is the kind of default drum machine that you get with Logic. Again, you can choose all different types of sounds, drum kits, got loads of different types of drum kit. So in this case, we're just going to look at a kind of reggae type, maybe kind of urban-y type sound. So we'll look at, let's try a grimy 909. Let's see what that sounds like. And we can play the notes on the keyboard. They usually start around C1. There we go. And we've got C1 will be your kick drum. D1 will be your snare. And then you've got your hats on F sharp, on G sharp and A sharp. And these are actually grouped, so you can only play one of these 3 notes at the same time. You can see they're slightly different. Hi-hat is closed. Pedal hat or half open is that one. This G sharp and A sharp is open. And they are kind of connected. And all right, so let's just record something in. I'm just going to record in the kick and the snare pattern to begin with, and I'll work on the hat later. So if we press R on the keyboard, it will start the recording, and it will give you a little 4-beat count in just to let you get in time before you start recording. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4.
Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is jam hot. This is jam hot. Tang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is jam hot.
Right, so I've done my really good beat, as you can see. You can tell that it's not quite in time. Now, what we have to do then is we have to use quantize. Now, quantize moves the notes to the nearest musical division. You can see this is slightly early. That's slightly early as well. So I can quantize all of these notes. I'll do that by selecting them all, dragging a box around them all, or pressing Command A for all. And then I can, let's just move this open a bit. and I can quantize it to the nearest 16th note or nearest 16th division of this bar by pressing the Q button. And you'll see when I do it, you'll see them move. There we go, they've moved in time.
Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty, you're listening to.
So this one's well out, so I'm going to have to move that. I'm going to move that to on the beat.
Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty, you're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot. Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty.
Okay, so it's okay. I would need to edit it a little bit. I mean, for example, this note is too quiet, so I might need to change the velocity on this note. Now, I can do that by using the velocity change tool. So if I press T on the keyboard, I can now go to velocity and then click on it, drag up. You can see the velocity number is changing. I'm going to change that all the way up to the top like that. Okay, and then T again, and we'll go back to the pointer. I'm going to put a note. I'm going to drag this note here, and I'm going to copy it by pressing the Option key on the keyboard. Like that. Let's see what that sounds like.
Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty, you're listening to the boy from the.
Bit too much. Let's take that one and take it out.
Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty, you're listening.
That's not quite right either, so let's just move that one down.
Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty, you're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot. Hang, fly, boss, wash.
That's fine. That sounds good. So now I'm just going to start building up the beat. I'm going to copy some of these notes. I'm going to put some open hi-hats. Put some hi-hats in. There we go. So we're just going to put nice straight hats all the way through, like so. And then I might, just on the last one, make it open. So let's just copy that twice. Boom.
Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty, you're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot. Hang, fly, boss, wash, jam, nitty gritty.
Might move that one there. So you can start messing around with the notes. I mean, there's a lot to be done in programming drums. You know, we can get well into kind of swing quantize and all the rest of it. But I think that pretty much wraps up this first lesson. So have a go at importing that audio, importing that MIDI, and building your own drum beats.